Welcome to our channel Port Zone. Today our topic quotes of Mahatma Gandhi. First they ignore you, then they laugh at you, then they fight you, then you win. Live as if you were to die tomorrow. Learn as if you were to live forever. You must be the change you wish to see in the world. Happiness is when what you think, what you say, and what you do are in harmony. Strength does not come from physical capacity. It comes from an indomitable will. The best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in the service of others. Where there is love there is life. It is health that is real wealth and not pieces of gold and silver. It is better to be violent, if there is violence in our hearts, than to put on the cloak of nonviolence to cover impotence. In a gentle way, you can shake the world. The weak can never forgive. Forgiveness is the attribute of the strong. The good man is the friend of all living things. You must not lose faith in humanity. Humanity is an ocean. If a few drops of the ocean are dirty, the ocean does not become dirty. Power is of two kinds. One is obtained by the fear of punishment and the other by acts of love. Power based on love is 1,000 times more effective and permanent than the one derived from fear of punishment. A nation's culture resides in the hearts and in the soul of its people. Even if you are a minority of one, the truth is the truth. Satisfaction lies in the effort, not in the attainment. Full effort is full victory. The greatness of a nation can be judged by the way its animals are treated. A man is but the product of his thoughts. What he thinks, he becomes. An ounce of practice is worth more than tons of preaching. Prayer is the key of the morning and the bolt of the evening. A small body of determined spirits fired by an unquenchable faith in their mission can alter the course of history. My life is my message. A coward is incapable of exhibiting love. It is the prerogative of the brave. There is a higher court than courts of justice, and that is the court of conscience. It supersedes all other courts. There is a sufficiency in the world for man's need but not for man's greed. An eye for an eye only ends up making the whole world blind. I suppose leadership at one time meant muscles, but today it means getting along with people. The essence of all religions is one. Only their approaches are different. If I had no sense of humor, I would long ago have committed suicide. Action expresses priorities. You can chain me, you can torture me, you can even destroy this body, but you will never imprison my mind. Man becomes great exactly in the degree in which he works for the welfare of his fellow men. When I admire the wonders of a sunset or the beauty of the moon, my soul expands in the worship of the Creator. My religion is based on truth and non-violence. Truth is my God. Non-violence is the means of realizing Him. Freedom is never dear at any price. It is the breath of life. What would a man not pay for living? There is more to life than increasing its speed. Morality is the basis of things and truth is the substance of all morality. Nobody can hurt me without my permission. I object to violence because when it appears to do good, the good is only temporary, the evil it does is permanent. We may stumble and fall but shall rise again. It should be enough if we did not run away from the battle. Anger is the enemy of non-violence and pride is a monster that swallows it up. Man's nature is not essentially evil. Brute nature has been known to yield to the influence of love. You must never despair of human nature. Prayer is not asking. It is a longing of the soul. It is daily admission of one's weakness. It is better in prayer to have a heart without words than words without a heart. Those who know how to think need no teachers. Truth never damages a cause that is just. All compromise is based on give and take, but there can be no give and take on fundamentals. Any compromise on mere fundamentals is a surrender. For it is all give and no take. It is the quality of our work which will please God and not the quantity. A no, uttered from the deepest conviction is better than a yes is merely uttered to please, or worse, to avoid trouble. There are people in the world so hungry, that God cannot appear to them except in the form of bread. We may never be strong enough to be entirely nonviolent in thought, word and deed. But we must keep nonviolence as our goal and make strong progress towards it. Non-cooperation with evil is as much a duty as is cooperation with good. I am prepared to die, but there is no cause for which I am prepared to kill. The human voice can never reach the distance that is covered by the still small voice of conscience. Anger and intolerance are the enemies of correct understanding. If we are to teach real peace in this world, and if we are to carry on a real war against war, we shall have to begin with the children. A man who was completely innocent, offered himself as a sacrifice for the good of others, including his enemies, and became the ransom of the world. It was a perfect act. Whatever you do may seem insignificant to you, but it is most important that you do it. The difference between what we do and what we are capable of doing would suffice to solve most of the world's problems. The real ornament of woman is her character, her purity. Jesus is ideal and wonderful, but you Christians, you are not like him. I wear the national dress because it is the most natural and the most becoming for an Indian. Honest disagreement is often a good sign of progress. Non-violence is the greatest force at the disposal of mankind. It is mightier than the mightiest weapon of destruction devised by the ingenuity of man. Always aim at complete harmony of thought and word and deed. Always aim at purifying your thoughts and everything will be well. Truth stands, even if there be no public support. It is self-sustained. The main purpose of life is to live rightly, think rightly, act rightly. The soul must languish when we give all our thought to the body. In matters of conscience, the law of the majority has no place. Nearly everything you do is of no importance, but it is important that you do it. An error does not become truth by reason of multiplied propagation, nor does truth become error because nobody sees it. Self-respect knows no considerations. I believe in equality for everyone, except reporters and photographers. The moment there is suspicion about a person's motives, everything he does becomes tainted. Those who say religion has nothing to do with politics do not know what religion is. There is nothing that wastes the body like worry, and one who has any faith in God should be ashamed to worry about anything whatsoever. Glory lies in the attempt to reach one's goal and not in reaching it. Justice that love gives is a surrender, justice that law gives is a punishment. It is unwise to be too sure of one's own wisdom. It is healthy to be reminded that the strongest might weaken and the wisest might err. Poverty is the worst form of violence. Faith is not something to grasp, it is a state to grow into. It is the duty of every thoughtful Indian not to marry. In case he is helpless in regard to marriage, he should abstain from sexual intercourse with his wife. What difference does it make to the dead, the orphans, and the homeless, whether the mad destruction is wrought under the name of totalitarianism or the holy name of liberty or democracy? Intolerance is itself a form of violence and an obstacle to the growth of a true democratic spirit. What do I think of Western civilization? I think it would be a very good idea. Freedom is not worth having if it does not connote freedom to err. If patience is worth anything, it must endure to the end of time. And a living faith will last in the midst of the blackest storm. Confession of errors is like a broom which sweeps away the dirt and leaves the surface brighter and clearer. I feel stronger for confession. As human beings, our greatness lies not so much in being able to remake the world, that is the myth of the atomic age, as in being able to remake ourselves. To give pleasure to a single heart by a single act is better than 1,000 heads bowing in prayer. Culture of the mind must be subservient to the heart. If a man reaches the heart of his own religion, he has reached the heart of the others, too. There is only one God, and there are many paths to Him. Before the throne of the Almighty, man will be judged not by his acts but by his intentions. For God alone reads our hearts. Each one has to find his peace from within. And peace to be real must be unaffected by outside circumstances. Nonviolence is the first article of my faith. It is also the last article of my creed. Truth is by nature self-evident. As soon as you remove the cobwebs of ignorance that surround it, it shines clear. I have nothing new to teach the world. Truth and non-violence are as old as the hills. All I have done is to try experiments in both on as vast a scale as I could. I claim to be a simple individual liable to err like any other fellow mortal. I own, however, that I have humility enough to confess my errors and to retrace my steps. Everyone who wills can hear the inner voice. It is within everyone. Service which is rendered without joy helps neither the servant nor the served. But all other pleasures and possessions pale into nothingness before service which is rendered in a spirit of joy. Man can never be a woman's equal in the spirit of selfless service with which nature has endowed her. Non-violence requires a double faith, faith in God and also faith in man. Each one prays to God according to his own light. It has always been a mystery to me how men can feel themselves honored by the humiliation of their fellow beings. To deprive a man of his natural liberty and to deny to him the ordinary amenities of life is worse than starving the body. It is starvation of the soul, the dweller in the body. Non-violence is not a garment to be put on and off at will. Its seat is in the heart, and it must be an inseparable part of our being. No culture can live if it attempts to be exclusive. Spiritual relationship is far more precious than physical. Physical relationship divorced from spiritual is body without soul. It may be possible to gild pure gold, but who can make his mother more beautiful? It is easy enough to be friendly to one's friends. But to befriend the one who regards himself as your enemy is the quintessence of true religion. The other is mere business. I look only to the good qualities of men. Not being faultless myself, I won't presume to probe into the faults of others. Gentleness, self-sacrifice and generosity are the exclusive possession of no one race or religion. Partition is bad. But whatever is past is past. We have only to look to the future. I do not want to foresee the future. I am concerned with taking care of the present. God has given me no control over the moment following. A religion that takes no account of practical affairs and does not help to solve them is no religion. Let us all be brave enough to die the death of a martyr, but let no one lust for martyrdom. I took the vow of celibacy in 1906. I had not shared my thoughts with my wife until then, but only consulted her at the time of making the vow. She had no objection.